In this episode, I'm finally going to look at one, Collingwood's best 23, no injuries, no nothing, and two, what I think our opening round team will look like. Let's jump into it. So before we do jump into it, these Swoop caps are still up for pre-sale. They're a very limited run. The link is down below. They'll be getting shipped towards the end of February. I do have other merch coming, bucket hats, t-shirts as well. We're going hard on that sort of merch stuff that see us all the way through. So if you want to wait out for that, you can wait out for that. But these hats are, very limited run. They're available for pre-order now, and you'll be able to get them at the end of February, way before the season starts. But anyway, let's get into this video. So like I said, in this video today, I'm going to be picking my best 23, no injuries, no suspension. So like you can add a Tom Mitchell in there, a Dan Houston, that sort of stuff. And then we'll be looking at what I think opening round will look like based on, suspensions and injuries and stuff like that. Now, I've looked at our best 23. Now, I've seen what other people have chosen, like, the media and all that sort of stuff. And I can tell you now, picking a best 23 that doesn't have any injuries, suspensions, etc., is going to be very hard. There are going to be people that I miss out on. There are going to be people that I'll probably forget, and then we'll go back and change them. We are using Zero Hangers website again with the team. They only show 22, so we'll pick the sub a little bit later on. This is going to be hard. Let's get into it. So this is best 23 stated towards the end of January. So full back, we're going to put Darcy Moore as our fullback. I'll kind of explain it a little bit as we go. And then we're going to put in the back pocket Isaac Quaynor. Where am I looking? Isaac. And in this other back pocket, we are going to put Reef McGuinness. Now, Reef McGuinness, I feel from the 20 odd sessions that I've been to, training sessions, he's gone past Charlie Dean and he's gone past Billy Frampton. Now, I think it's going to be horses for courses. Like I've said earlier, Billy Frampton will probably play if, we're playing Carlton and there's a Mackay and a Kerner and you have to have that bigger body. Reef McInnes isn't that big body one-on-one defender. He's been lining up against McStay, Membry and Mason Cox at training, but obviously that's just training. It's not going up against opponents. We'll see more when practice matches start. So maybe I'll do another opening round best 23 after those practice matches when we see a little bit. But I do think that based on everything, he is gone past Charlie Dean. He's gone past Billy Frampton. Obviously, Darcy at full back, which means that our centre half back is going to be Jeremy Howe. We know that just historically, we don't have big key position players. We know that Darcy Moore isn't very good one-on-one. Jeremy Howe's not too bad one-on-one. But I think with Reef McGuinness in that back line, it does free up more a little bit. You probably see, Reef, he's pretty tall. He's close to 2 meters. So you probably see him sort of floating around on big forwards as well. On one of the half-back lines, we are going to put Dan Houston, bang. And on the other half-back line, we are going to put, where is he? Oh, sorry, I messed up. In the back pocket, we are going to put Braden Maynard. On the half-back line, we are going to put Isaac Quaynor. Why can't I find it? There he is. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I wanted to do. So Maynard in that back pocket, Darcy, Reef, Dan Houston, Jeremy Howe, Isaac Quaynor for that run. Houston and Dan Houston. Oh my God, Houston and Isaac Quaynor coming off that half-back line is going to be dangerous for teams. Another player that you can sort of put on that half-back line is Josh Dacos, but what we're going to do is we're going to leave Josh Dacos on the wing for now, and you probably see that shift around a little bit in-game. What I'm definitely not going to do is put Harry Perryman in that back line. He is not touching that back line at all. He's come to Collingwood wanting midfield minutes. He's going to play midfield minutes. He's done a fantastic job as the inside mid during training, just bursting and crushing those packs and getting his way out of congestion, which is incredible. And he probably will maybe, jump into the back line if Dan Houston, they want to push him up into the center a little bit. But I just don't see Perryman starting in in that back line. On the other wing, we're going to put Steele side bottom. You know, this is best 23, obviously, but by the end of the year, I do see Ed Allen taking Steele side bottom spot in that best 23. So for the center, we are going to put. I want to put Pendlebury. No, you know what? I'm going to put Jack Crisp straight into the guts. Jack Crisp is another one that you know can play 2 or 3 positions. He can play as a defender, as a running halfback. He can play as a follower as well as a rover or something like that, going all around the ground. So I like Jack Crisp's versatility, but that big body, we're putting him in the center. Half forwards, we're going to have old mates. Where is he? Bo McCreary as a half forward. Bo is at training. He's absolutely smashing it. It looks like he's gotten a little bit quicker as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bo McCreary sort of jumping into the midfield a little bit. I don't think he's going to be doing Jordan De Goey numbers in the midfield, but maybe just pinch hitting. Because I would love to turn Bo McCreary into Dane Swan 2.0. Obviously, you can't replicate Dane Swan. No one's going to be as good as Dane Swan. But Bo McCreary, if he can add a couple more goals to his yearly tally, I think, and rack up about 20 possessions, goal and a half, 20 possessions a game would be incredible. But we're here for that tackling presence. On the other half forward line, we're going to put Lockie Schultz. I think Schultz, he kicked 30 or something goals last season. He was much maligned by the football media and Collingwood supporters. He isn't in this team to kick 50 goals, right? He's a goal-kicking machine, but like Bo McCreary, he has that incredible defensive craft as a defensive forward, and he's quick, deceptively quick and deceptively strong. So I think Lockie and Bo can cause havoc to defenders this season. Half forward, they have been switching up Dan McStay and Brody Mychek. Sometimes Brody Mychek's deep, sometimes Brody Mychek's up the half forward, sometimes Dan McStay's deep, and sometimes Brody Mychek is on the half forward line, and vice versa. So those two are probably a little bit interchangeable. I do like when Brody Mychek is closer to goals, but in saying that, Dan McStay, his big body, he has not dropped a mark for these last 20 sessions that I've been at. It has been absolutely phenomenal watching him go about it. And now, it's pretty easy. Here we go, Jamie Elliott, Bobby Hill, and that rounds out our team on the field. Now, looking at followers, Darcy Cameron. I think Darcy Cameron is going to ruck most of the year by himself. I reckon Dan McStay gives him a little bit of a chop out. We've seen Dan McStay taking a little bit of the ruck duties in some drills at training. You've obviously got Nick Dacos here. Nick Dacos. And then you're going to have Jordan De Goey here. Now, I'm pretty happy with that team. You'll notice that there are some big outs, or not big outs. That we've still got the interchange to go. So I guess we'll do the interchange. So the first guy we're obviously going to put on here is Tom Mitchell. Remember that this is Collingwood's best 23. This is not the opening round team, because we know that Tom Mitchell has that injury. But you need a Tom Mitchell type to retrieve the ball. Here we're going to put Pendlebury, of course. Perryman. Who else do we have? I do want to put this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I think Tim Membry edges out Mason Cox in our best 23. But in saying that, we don't know what sort of structure Collingwood are going to go with. We don't know if they're going to want to play these 3 or 4 talls in the same side. We don't know if they're going to go with lower to the ground, speedy guys. But in saying that, the substitute that I would pick out of all these guys is Patrick Lipinski. I think he's going to have a really good season, and he can come on as that super sub. Now, you'll notice that Will Hoskin-Elliott isn't in this side. Again, we don't know how they're going to line up, but I think Harry Perryman does pretty much what Will Hoskin-Elliott does, just a little bit better. And I love Will Hoskin-Elliott, right? The jack of all trades, the Swiss Army knife. I love everything about him. I do think he probably still gets into the best 23, but I just couldn't fit him in at the moment. So he could be a sub. It'll be either him or Patrick Lipinski as a sub. Scott Pendlebury on the interchange. I wouldn't really, Pendlebury's not starting on the ground. These guys go onto the ground after 2 minutes of starting the game. So just going through my best 23 just to start the season. If we had a clean bill of health, etc., etc. We got Maynard, Moore, McGuinness, Dan Houston, Jeremy Howe, Isaac Quaynor as our backman. That's probably the bit where we're just lacking a little bit because of those no big, tall defenders. You want Darcy Moore to get better at those one-on-ones. But with Reef McGuinness there, who just, we couldn't chop anyone out for Darcy Moore last year with losing Nathan Murphy. I think that would make Jeremy Howe and Darcy Moore better defenders. Now, in the middle, we got Josh Dacos, Jack Crisp, Steele Sidebottom. Again, really happy with that. But the most I'm happy about is our forward line. Bo McCreary, McStay, Schultz, Jamie Elliott, Bobby Hill, Brody Myercheck, and then obviously you got Tim Membry on the bench. Followers, Darcy Cameron, Nick Dacos, Jordan De Goey, Tom Mitchell, Scott Pendlebury, Harry Perryman, Tim Membry. That's a really good side. If we can get all those guys on the park, that is a phenomenal side. I would hate to go up against those guys. And, I said that our defense is our weakness, but if our forwards are kicking more goals than their forwards, you win the game, right? So you can allow Max King to kick 5 goals as long as, you're sort of, you can allow a big tall forward to kick those goals as long as you're, Braden Maynard, Quaynor, Reef McGuinness are keeping their smaller forwards and their medium-sized forwards to 0 goals, and your forwards are kicking more goals. But that is my best 23. No injuries, no nothing. Let's look at our opening team. So, opening round is just over a month away. We know that Tom Mitchell won't play opening round. We know that Jordan De Goey is touch and go. Yes, he's gone back into training. Nick Dacos is touch and go as well. I think out of Nick Dacos and Jordan De Goey, I think Nick Dacos definitely plays. Jordan De Goey, I still think he plays. So I'm not gonna move him out of the side. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move Tom Mitchell. I'm definitely gonna move Dan Houston because he's been suspended. And then everyone else, barring injury, pretty much stays the same. So coming off that half back line now, I would. Oh yeah. So coming off that half back line now, you know what I probably would do? This is probably where you do bring in like a Will Hoskin-Elliott and then have a Harry Perryman, because what you could do is you could, if training is to be believed, you could push Josh Dacos onto that half back line, chuck Harry Perryman onto the wing, Will Hoskin-Elliott onto the bench. Harry Perryman on the wing still means that he can go into the center. I actually don't mind that. Let's go with that for now. That's a little bit weird, but let's run with that for now. This is without Dan Houston, of course. Everyone else seems pretty fine. Darcy Cameron, Nick Dacos, Jordan De Goey. Do we keep him in the side or do we take him out of the side? But he's looking pretty good. He's doing more full training than Nick Dacos is. We'll keep Jordan De Goey in there. We'll definitely take Tom Mitchell out. Tom Mitchell coming out means that, you know what? Tom Mitchell coming out for opening round, someone who's really impressed me, we're going to put Ed Allen in. So I've got Ed Allen starting in opening round. And against the Giants, I'd probably say you would maybe start Pendlebury in the center just to get a bit of the action straight up. But that would be my opening round team. Only a couple of changes. And this is, on the provision that Nick Dacos and Jordan De Goey are ready to go, which I think they will be. Tom Mitchell, obviously not. Dan Houston, obviously not. But everyone else, touch wood, has a clean bill of health. And my sub is obviously Patrick Lipinski. So that's how I'm starting against the Giants at, is it Homebush Stadium, Engie Stadium, whatever the hell it's called, the Farm Stadium. I'm going to be there. I hope to see you guys there. What do you think about my two teams, the best 23 and the opening round team? Let me know your thoughts down below. Who are you taking out? Who are you putting in? Did I get it wrong? Probably. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.